Imagine standing on the grounds of Auschwitz, the echoes of history surrounding you. The chilling silence speaks louder than words. And yet, over 2 million people visit this site every year. But why? Why are we so drawn to places of suffering and death? Are we honoring history, satisfying curiosity, or is there something darker lurking within us? In the next 30 seconds, you'll learn the shocking reason why your brain might be wired to seek out places of tragedy. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why dark tourism is booming in the modern world, for better or for worse. Dark tourism, the act of visiting places associated with death, tragedy, and disaster, has surged in popularity over the last few decades. From Chernobyl to Pompeii, from the 9/11 memorial to abandoned asylums, millions of people actively seek out these sites. Some go for historical education, some for an emotional connection, but for others, the reasons are more complicated. So, what is really driving this phenomenon? Let's break it down. Studies show that humans have a natural curiosity about death. Psychologists refer to it as morbid curiosity, an evolutionary trait that once helped us understand and avoid dangers. It's the same reason we slow down to look at car crashes or feel compelled to watch true crime documentaries. Sites like Auschwitz or Chernobyl offer a real, tangible way to confront that curiosity. Seeing these places firsthand forces us to process the reality of history in a way that books or movies never can. Many visitors to dark tourism sites feel an overwhelming sense of empathy. Walking through a site where millions suffered or perished can create a powerful emotional response. Psychologists call this perspective taking, putting yourself in someone else's shoes. By physically being in these spaces, visitors may feel more connected to the past and to those who suffered. It becomes a form of remembrance, an effort to ensure history is not forgotten. There's also an undeniable thrill in visiting places associated with death. Sites like the catacombs of Paris or abandoned psychiatric hospitals play into the fear factor, giving visitors a rush of adrenaline. This is why ghost tours and haunted locations are some of the most popular forms of dark tourism. However, this raises ethical concerns. At what point does dark tourism shift from respectful remembrance to commercialized spectacle? Social media has dramatically increased interest in dark tourism. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok are filled with influencers visiting sites of tragedy, sometimes with little regard for their historical significance. The result? These locations become bucket list destinations rather than places of reflection. For example, after HBO's Chernobyl series aired, the exclusion zone saw a 30% spike in tourism. Many visitors went in search of an eerie, post-apocalyptic experience rather than an understanding of the disaster's impact. Some even took selfies in radiation suits, turning a site of suffering into a social media playground. So, where do we draw the line? When does tourism become exploitation? The answer isn't simple. Education and awareness. These sites serve as powerful reminders of human history. Visiting Auschwitz or Hiroshima teaches lessons that textbooks cannot. Preserving memory. Many argue that by visiting these places, we keep the memory of the past alive and honor those who suffered. Economic benefits. Dark tourism can fund the preservation of historic sites, ensuring they remain intact for future generations. Commercialization of tragedy. Some sites have become more about profit than remembrance. The existence of gift shops and overpriced tours can feel exploitative. Disrespectful behavior. Some tourists take selfies at concentration camps, joke around in mass graves, or visit these places purely for entertainment. Ethical concerns. Some locations, like mass graves or active disaster sites, should perhaps not be open to the public at all. Ultimately, dark tourism is neither entirely good nor bad. It depends on the intent and behavior of the visitor. If done with respect, it can be an incredibly powerful tool for education and remembrance. However, if treated as a spectacle or thrill-seeking adventure, it risks diminishing the weight of history. So next time you consider visiting a site of tragedy, ask yourself, are you there to learn and remember, or just to satisfy curiosity? The way we engage with history determines how we preserve it for the future. If this topic made you think, you won't want to miss our next video, How World War II Changed the Way We Remember and Commercialize Historical Memory. We'll explore how museums, monuments, and memorials shape our understanding of history and whether they truly serve the purpose of remembrance, or if they've become just another business. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss it.